if I'm talking to a new trader, I would ask them that. I would specifically ask, okay, are you a risk taker? Do you appreciate risk? Are you okay with risk? On the other hand, are you also stoic, patient, a risk mitigator? If you can have both of those types, you can be successful. If you're missing one of those types, it's going to be very, very hard for you. Hey everyone, welcome to the Anarchy Podcast. 99% of traders will never make consistent profits. So why listen to the 99% of advice? On this show, we're going to challenge some of the most hallowed and repeated tenets of trading, and in doing so, set you up to succeed where others fail. Spoiler alert, we don't have a secret strategy or magic wand that will let you skip out on the hard work of learning the markets, but we can debunk viewpoints that are holding you back. If that sounds good to you, come join us.
Good morning and welcome to the Anarchy Trading Podcast, guys. It's been a long holiday season. Levi and I got to hang out for a while, as well as with one of our other siblings. It was a great time with friends and family, and of course, zero sleep. And so I think I'm still trying to recover a little bit from, oh man, the many sleepless nights of staying up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and then waking up early. And, you know, I've got kids, so sleeping in is not really an option. Unlike Levi, who got to sleep in as long as he wanted, except for my kids going, "Can we go wake him up?" I'm like, yeah, go wake up Uncle Levi. But no, it was awesome. Levi, I do want to publicly acknowledge that Levi beat me at golf. We were on the last hole, and Levi had to sink a 25 foot putt in order to beat me by a stroke. And listen, that trading has made him cold as stone, and he just sunk it for, I think it was for par, and beat me by a stroke. So it was really discouraging. It was discouraging, but it was a fabulous shot. But golfing and having some time to chat got us talking about whether having the skills to trade is enough. Like, can you be a trader? A lot of times we've talked on here, can anyone learn to trade? And we've gone back and forth. You can go back and listen to our podcast on that. But Levi and I got discussing, and Levi made the proposition to me that not everyone can be a trader. And we got into this because our dad, we were sitting along talking to our dad, and he was talking about he didn't think he'd be able to be a trader because he's a natural gambler. He doesn't gamble, but he's a natural gambler. And so Levi had some great thoughts about that today. So Levi, what's up?
Jordan, I'm still basking in the glow of the golf win. It's fantastic. Yeah, new year. I'm really excited. I started making a list of New Year's resolutions, and it got really, really long, so I had to pare that down because otherwise none of them will happen. So I'm excited. I'm enjoying the new year. We are now as close to 2040 as we are to 2010. So
Oh, that's crazy.
just yeah, I heard that the other day, and that made me like go into a bit of a spiral. That's ridiculous. Yeah, so we were talking about we've talked about this before, like you said, about whether anybody can trade. And in the past, we've said that most people could develop have the talent, at least the intellectual capability, to trade correctly. And by the way, this is a huge question, and this is a question that everybody asks new traders, people who don't trade, can anyone trade? Because it's a really important question to know, because like we've said, it takes years to become profitable trading. And if you're never going to be successful, that's really important to know ahead of time before you sink years of your life into trading, right? Like, you don't want to spend 3, 4 years trading and then be like, well, I guess I can't do it. And you just wasted, years of your life and thousands of hours. And so it's super, super important to ask this question. And so it's super important to have a good answer. In the past, we've said, yes, people have the natural talent. I have been thinking a lot about this, and yeah, we had a long conversation about this because I think that is true. I think most people do have the natural intellectual ability to become a trader. I don't think it takes a genius. Just look at Jordan and I. Trust me, we're not geniuses. But what we then talked long and hard about was I firmly now believe that not everyone, I would argue not even a lot of people, have the personality necessary to become a trader, or at least become a successful trader that can stand the test of time. And that's actually a big deal. So, if that raises alarm bells with you as a listener, hopefully it does, but hopefully we can kind of give you a clear idea of kind of what personality traits we're talking about that are necessary because I think there's a balance of kind of two key personality traits that are often conflicting. And that's why when they meet in one single person, it's rare, and that person tends to be good at day trading. And so yeah, that's the kind of conversation we had. The first trait that we were talking about, Jordan, was risk taking. Now, most people who listen to us actually are risk takers. This day trading tends to just lend itself to kind of risk taking types. And so it tends to skew male. Our listenership is like 90-10. Ladies, love that you're here. You actually do tend to be good day traders if you're good with the risk. But yeah, men tend to be more fly by the seat of their pants, risk takers, and so you end up with more men. It tends to skew a little bit younger, not very young. It's actually our listenership is also middle, close to middle age. It's the average now. But yeah, this is kind of the big one that everybody thinks about. If you think about day trading, everybody who's listening, you're looking into getting into a job where you're throwing money away, right? And this is it's hard to do, and so not many people have that affinity. But when they do, day trading becomes kind of an interesting path that people want to take.
Yeah, and we've talked about the fact that trading's really the personality of a trader is essentially in conflict with each other, right? Because not only do you have to be a risk taker, as you said, but you also have to be a risk mitigator or, cautious, um, and trying to reconcile those two things it can be it can create huge mental dissonance for a ton of people.
Yeah, and this is where this becomes a very rare personality type, right? Because there are a lot of risk takers. Those people become degenerate gamblers. Or and in my opinion, they'll never truly succeed. And you better hope you don't succeed, because if you do succeed, that can pop up years down the line. If you're just a gambler, you're never safe, right? You can have one day when you're angry, one day when you're stressed, and you can ruin your life, literally. And so gamblers aren't successful in the long run. On the other hand, like you said, there are people who are more risk mitigators. They are cautious, they're patient, they're calm, right? And those people, if you're just that, those they also tend not to become successful day traders, because uh, it's very stressful. It's incredibly stressful. Like I mean, we know those people. We've talked to those people. I'm sure you could talk about certain people that you've talked to, but they're constantly stressed for one because the thought of throwing money away hurts, and losing money in a day hurts, and the thought of blowing accounts hurts, and so they can never truly become successful.
Yeah, yeah, and it's learning to control the yin and the yang. It's the master Oogway. I just we watched Kung Fu Panda 4. Well, Levi was here. Yes, we were truly desperate for entertainment. But it really truly is learning to kind of transcend that normal. Like you have to begin with, in order to start trading, you have to be a risk taker because there's nothing certain about it. But in order to then stay the trader, you have to learn to balance that out with a healthy amount of fear and respect of what letting that other ugly, or I guess you could borrow, like, what would be a good analogy? I think I was thinking of a Venom analogy or something, but anyway, letting the other side come out, right, and kind of being that place that will bring you down.
Yeah, and there's a calmness that also has to come around with that. So there's this kind of it's this
Inner peace.
yeah,
Inner
yeah,
peace.
it's the inner peace. It's the stoicism balanced with the risk taker. That's a really rare personality type. By the way, it also happens to be our personality types. We're both risk takers, and we're both also tend to be rather stoic, fairly patient. We're not hotheads. And so, if you are a hothead and you have no like patience, don't have that stoicism, it can be really hard to be successful in the long run. On the other hand, if you are kind of stoic, you're patient, you're analytical, but you don't have that risk-taking side, then you're going to one hate day trading. It's going to stress you out, and also you're probably never going to succeed anyway because you can't fail. We know people who do that. And so if I'm talking to a new trader, I would ask them that. I would specifically ask, okay, are you a risk taker? And do you appreciate risk? Are you okay with risk? On the other hand, are you also stoic, patient, a risk mitigator? If you can have both of those types, you can be successful. If you're missing one of those types, it's going to be very, very hard for you. Now, in you know, you can change your personality slightly. So if you can take more risks, you can make yourself more comfortable with that kind of practice makes perfect type stuff. But if that's not you at all, I would caution you. Like if you're a risk taker, but you're not very stoic, you're not very calm, you're not very you're not very emotionally regulated. Um, you have a hard time with that side, I would caution you because you are going to have a tendency to gamble, and that's going to be very hard to get rid of. On the other hand, if you are very calm, collected, but you are very risk averse, I would also caution you because I don't know how much you can push the boundaries with practice on those. And so that's I think that was the conversation that we had with our dad, and I kind of firmly believe that. So that's what I would tell kind of newer traders: be looking, kind of be honest with yourself. And you can definitely practice. You can definitely practice and get better at stuff. But just I would ask that person to just look inwards and see, is that something that can grow, or is it something that's just not there? Anyway, that's all I got. Guys, thanks again for listening. Happy New Year. Hope you have an awesome New Year. I know we're all going to have an awesome year of trading. So feel free to reach out, like and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. It really, really helps us out a lot. We're incredibly grateful to all of you. We love and appreciate you guys. Take care.